Next up in the workshop, we have a guest from Skytear. Find out who they are. Hey guys, welcome to the workshop. We are going to get right into it. This is the Silent Ambassador from Skytear. Unfortunately, I know very little about the game, but the miniature was just way too cool to pass up. So she's already primed. She's already put together. She was a single piece miniature. I didn't have to put anything together. So that was, as much as I like putting things together, sometimes a single piece miniature is kind of fun. This one here, they say, at least on the back of her package, that she's kind of made from elements around her. So, or I should say that she's made of. She's made. Let's see if I can remember this correctly. We'll get it correct next time. I'll actually have the box and I can read off the back of the box. But basically, it's a macabre kind of reproduction of the people that they serve, made up of this stuff that's surrounding them. So what we're going to do is we're going to make her kind of like the stone that's under her feet. So we are going to start with. Ashen Gray. Wow. Right there. There we go. And we are going to take our. I'm not going to do the dry brush yet. That will come later on, and you'll see what I mean. We're going to take our medium layer brush, or medium base brush, I should say. Medium base from Citadel Co. It's one of their new synthetic brushes. I've actually really, really enjoyed using these synthetic brushes. We're going to put a little bit on a palette. Of course, we're going to water it down and make it flow nice and smooth. And then we are just going to have a heyday and just paint the whole kit and caboodle this gray. Of course, it's going to be a little bit watered down. But that's all right. We're going to take the same gray color right up into her. We're just going to do make her the same color as the ground. And we're just going to do everything. Oh, maybe not the headdress. We don't have to do the headdress. So we get to be nice and messy with this one here. We just get to plop the color on any old way we want to. Let's get the colors. Get the color on there, because at this point it really makes no difference. Just want to make sure that we get that. Get the miniature covered in the gray. Now the details that are on her, we will pick out later on once we deal with this. Like I said, we're just gonna go nuts. We're just gonna paint the whole thing. Give it a couple of coats, make sure that we get everything covered. Oh, she was mostly off screen, but you can kind of see what I was doing. There we go. Now we are going to make her stand out a little bit from the bottom. We're not going to make her look like, I mean, we could make her look like she's rising up right off the ground and have no color difference at all. But that makes it's a little boring. At least I think it's a little boring anyway. So what we're going to do is we are going to do kind of a twofold deal. I'm going to put away the Eshin Gray for a moment. And we're going to grab one of the all-time best shade colors that you can ever use in any miniature. And a lot of people will probably think that I'm talking about the Argrax Earthshade, and you would be actually incorrect on that one. I mean, yes, the Argrax Earthshade is quite the go-to. It's quite the helper color. It actually does quite a lot. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to go for the Null Oil, the other one that is absolutely phenomenal. Helps out on many miniatures, bringing your depth and your shadow to life. Helping bring your, actually I should probably correctly say, bringing your character to life by giving it depth and highlights. So what we're going to do is we are going to use my medium glaze brush, because I'm completely wrong on that one actually. We are going to go for my medium shade from Citadel. And the reason why we want that is because we want to be able to cover a large area at once. And what we're going to do actually is we're just going to do the base. Get that a little bit drier before we go on. Okay, you can hear me blowing on the base. Trying to get the paint dry. Alright. And then we are just going to slop this on the base. And what it's going to do, it's going to flow into the cracks. Of the base and just kind of help give the base just a little bit of depth, a little bit of life to it. There we go. And we're just going to let that dry. What we're going to do is we're actually going to go on to another, we're going to go on to the to another part of the miniature. We're going to go back. We're actually going to go to the character itself while we wait for the base to dry. We can put our Nuln Oil safely away. I've seen so many pictures of people who spilt their Nuln Oil, and it's a very sad day when that happens. And we can actually put away the medium layer brush for the moment, and we are going to grab our small dry brush, which the tip still looks a lot like the the bristles or the brush tip looks, oh geez, so itchy. Sorry guys. The tip still looks a lot like the medium layer brush. So now we're going to go to our Skaven Blade Dinge, which is just ever so slightly lighter than the Eshin Gray. And it has a bit of a brown, because it's dingy. And we are going to do a dry brush on her. Let's kind of put that brown kind of tinge into the rock. Which is what she's kind of made of. So it's going to be a near imperceptible change. But it will, give that slight difference in the base hue. It'll look pretty good. Right now we're not worrying about any of the details or jewelry or anything else that's on her. That is not important. That'll come later on. Yeah, like I said, it's practically imperceptible for that brown, but it's there. Believe me, it's there. Clean off our dry brush. There we are. Get the paint out of the bristles. Now I'm going to paint this one very close to the way it is on the box. But we're not going to worry about that quite yet. It'll be coming along quite nice, I think. Okay. What I want to do is I actually now I want to go to the Egrax Earthshade, because I want her to be the same but different to the base. And again, I kind of want her to have that brown hue to her. So I'm going to take the character brush, which gives us just a little bit more control over where the wash goes, because she's a smaller figure. And we're going to put some color on her. We're going to give her more of that brown texture, that brown hue color. Now we're going to make it quite obvious with the Egrax Earthshade. And we want to control the flow, so we want to make sure that what we have on the brush is not going to get away from us. Kind of see how this is starting to come up. And make sure that you can use that palette to help determine exactly how much of the shade you're going to get on the miniature. There we are. Down the back leg. There we are. I like how that's beginning to look. She's come along quite well. Putting off that character brush. You know, I think my studio cat must take off with my sleeves for these things. Because now I'm missing two. I'm missing the one for my character, and I'm missing one for my small layer. And there we go. So you can kind of see the difference. Hopefully we can see the difference between the base, where I just used the Escher the Eshin gray. Sorry, there. And here I did a little bit of, you know, Escher gray through the whole thing. Then I used Null oil to wash, and then I did a little bit of a dry brush with the Skaven Blade dinge, and then gave her the Agrax Earthshade, so we can have kind of the same grays, but yet at the same time different grays. It's a way to play with things. Now we're going to go back to the Eshin gray. Actually, we still have some on the pad here. Go to the dry brush. Wipe it off as dry brush technique says we should. Even though it's a little wet still, what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of flick the Eshin gray and I want it's kind of muddying up that rock and moving that black wash around a little bit. Just playing and experimenting, and hopefully something cool comes out. You know? See if we can get it dry up a little bit. There we are. Kind of put that Eshin, kind of fill that Eshin gray back out. Basically putting the base color back on, but making sure that we don't get into the, you know, into the little crevices and stuff like that. Make sure that that's kept with the Null oil wash. Just helps everything show up better. There we are. Alright. Actually, we're going to keep an eye on that one. Actually, we'll put that aside for now. And then going into my grays, into my stone colors, we are going to take a peek and see what we got. Good for later. Now, where is my Dawnstone? That's the color I'm looking for. I'm looking for Dawnstone. Ah, found it. Haha. Dawnstone's a fairly extreme highlight, but it's gonna work really nice. Again, take most of the paint off for a dry brush, and just kind of do a light dry brush that'll hit the edges and all of our raised parts. There we are. Again, these are just fast little dry brushes. I mean, the base is already done for us. It looks like a cracked rock or something like that. Oh no! So now you can start to see the light, you know, the gray versus kind of that brown tinge. We're pretty much done with the Dawnstone at the moment. Then we're going to move to Administratum Gray. And this is going to be a very minimal dry brushed highlight. We just want to catch the tips or the edges of the rock. There we are. Just like that. Boom. There's our base. All done. Now we're more or less going to repeat the same thing up on the girl here. We're going to do a quick dry brush. But instead of starting all the way at Eshin, we're going to go with that Skaven Blade dinge. It had that slight brown hint to it. Get some on there on your brush. Wipe most of it off because dry brush. Just give her a bit of a work over with that color. There we go. Okay, we're going to go to the Dawnstone. Get rid of that. Very light dry brush once over. There we are. And then almost nothing of the Administratum gray. So we're trying to make her look like she's built right out of the base material, or the materials on the base, but we want her to have a slightly different hue to her. So we want to give her that kind of brownish undertone. Now we've gone a little bit over time, and that's okay, because it will give us that. You'll see what I mean. Between the two differences, like the rock is a lot grayer than our fine rock lady. She's got that little bit of a brown under heel. So that's that. And so the next time, what we're going to do is we're going to start working on the small details, like the feathers, the crown, the necklace, and so on and so forth. And I'll have better information on both the game and who she is and everything like that. Okay. So in the meantime, stay safe, paint safe, and we'll see you next time in the workshop.